Andrea,
Hey.
aka the Cookie Lady. I've been knowing you as the Cookie Lady forever. You know what's funny? Even when I wanted to call you and actually come on the show, I'm looking for Andrea, but I have you under Cookie Lady. So
That's pretty much become my name.
yes,
so.
yes, for sure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank
we
you.
are on episode, I believe we're episode 6, 4, 5. Yeah, episode 6. Episode 6. And I want you to introduce yourself. I know a lot about you. I've been knowing your family for a long time. And I think that your story is going to be very inspiring and uplifting to people who are listening, especially people in the food space, right?
Yeah.
The ghost kitchens, the food trucks, that go out to the farmers markets, who want to have a storefront. You can tell them a lot of do's and don'ts about that. So introduce yourself and then let's get started.
Well, my name is Andrea Russell. I am the owner of The Cookie Jar in Fontana, California. And we have over 100 different flavors of fresh baked cookies that we rotate out weekly.
Yeah, definitely. And then you brought some for us.
I brought some, yes,
let's see
of
what
course.
we have here really quickly. We have peanut butter cookie.
Okay.
We have a vegan double chocolate brownie cookie. So for you vegans out there, and just so you know, we're going to put all of Andrea in the store, the address, information on the page so you'll be able to contact her direct. We have a bomb pop cookie. Looks like a rainbow. We have a caramel butter toffee cookie. Woo! And we have a churro cookie. What? You know how much I love churros? A churro cookie. So tell us how you got started and what inspired you to even start making cookies. How did this happen?
You know what? It's been I don't even know where to begin because I've always been a baker. I've always been someone who cooks and, entertains people.
Okay.
So I guess, my cooking and baking, that's how I entertain.
Gotcha.
And the company actually got started when I was finishing up my bachelor's degree. I had gone to school at UNLV, dropped out, had a family, got divorced, and then I was like, I need to finish school.
Right.
So I went back to school. And my final project was creating a business plan and putting together a business. So that's how the Cookie Jar was born. I put together a cookie business. I was in Nevada at the time, so I did like market research. I did all the business licensing research, all that. So once the class was over and I had these cookies that I made, and I would take them to everyone. My sisters were like, "Hey, what are you going to do with all that? You need to do something with that." Because it was a lot of work that I put into it. And, my sisters helped me, of course. But it was a lot of work that went into it. And we had so much information at our fingertips. And we were like, we got to do something with this.
So you made the cookies along with the business plan for your class.
Because the final project was we pitched our business Shark Tank style to the class.
Good deal.
So I forgot I left that out.
So how was that response from the class when you pitched your business?
They loved it because I brought out this big old box full of cookies. And I started passing them out to everybody. And they were like, "Oh my gosh." So yeah, they went over well.
Oh, good. So that's how the cookie jar was born.
That's how it was born. It was still like a twinkle in my eye, but we just started kind of tinkering around with different recipes, and that's when red velvet was like the thing. Red velvet, popular, popped back up on the scene, and I was like, I'm gonna make a red velvet cookie.
Ooh.
And then my sister's like, well, don't stop there. My mom was known for her peach cobbler, so she's like, you should make a peach cobbler cookie, and I'm like, how am I going to do that? Okay, let me think about it. So I thought about it and I put that together, and that's like our signature cookie now.
Yeah, I've given your cookies out to a lot of my clients, and they love them. They love them. We even had a cross promotion with our skincare product.
Yes,
and that was phenomenal. Like, people still ask me about those. Cause I said, go to the website. we don't have promotions over. Go to the website. So tell me, how long ago was the twinkle in your eye until the storefront now? How many years ago did you start with this?
It was 2013. So I was living in Las Vegas, and family reasons, I was moving back here. So when I moved back here, my sister's like, they have this new cottage law. You can make cookies from your house. I know you got a job, but you need to move forward with that. You need to do that. So she was kind of like pushing me. And so I got my cottage food license, and I started doing farmers markets. So I started out at Fontana used to have a farmers market right behind the library on Arrow.
Yes.
And so I started out at that farmers market, and then we got into the Rancho farmers market at Terra Vista.
Terra Vista.
So Terra Vista is where I spent most of my time. We did that for 8 years up until we opened the store.
So let me ask you this. When you went to the farmers market, and anybody who's not anybody, but people who are listening and watching, would you suggest, or did you give out any samples for people to know, or how would they know about these? Because sometimes when you see things, they look good, but people are suspect about buying food.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So how did you end up doing that?
So that's what we did. We would bake all the cookies, and then we would cut up like 4 of each one and bag them up, and we gave them out as samples. So people would walk by and we say free samples. We got cookies, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. People love.
And they would taste it and be like, "Oh," and they'd buy them. So yeah.
So 8 years at the farmers market, you put in the work. So from the school project, and the great thing is that a lot of times you hear stories about family that don't encourage you into entrepreneurship, that don't say, girl, just stay with your job. I don't know what you're doing. It's so many cookies out there, Famous Amy's, Oreo. But your family and your sisters actually encouraged you to do it, which was a blessing. So you come back to the IE and you get your license for the house, based on what you just said. And then how does that process start with the farmers market to continue to grow?
Well, once I had the license, I just applied to the farmers market and got accepted in, and then we started setting up there. So, I had the social media set up. I started pushing things out on social media. First, it was probably to about like 2 or 3 people.
Right.
And my family members, But that's how it started. And then, as people started coming to the markets and getting the samples and buying cookies, then they started following on social media. So
great.
it just, grew and grew and grew from there. And I even got to where other stores wanted to sell my products. So some restaurants in LA would purchase wholesale and resell the cookies, and I still do that now. But it was just word of mouth. It really was word of mouth. We just kept going, and every week I would think of something new, something different, as far as cookie flavors, because I'm kind of greedy. I like cookies, and so
that makes 2 of us. I think we all do.
That's what everybody says. How do you think of all this stuff? And it's like I will be sitting down at a restaurant and eat a piece of banana cream pie and be like, I can make a cookie for this. I can make a cookie out of this, and then I'll make a new flavor, and it continues to happen. So it's grown, and we're at like 150 something flavors now.
So obviously you're not making that many flavors every day.
No.
Right? So how do you? I mean, you have your best sellers because you track them and people ask for them.
Right.
But out of those 150 flavors, how do people order, or how do they say, hey, I want to try this one, or is there a minimum? How do you do that and keep up with it?
So all orders are online.
Okay.
We don't take any orders in the store.
Got it.
But you can go online and pick up to 2 flavors in a dozen. So cookies are sold by the dozen online.
Okay.
You can pick any 2 flavors in that dozen, and you can pick from anything on the menu, all the same price.
Makes
anything,
sense.
We have a whole list on our website, and you can pick from any of those flavors.
Okay, got you.
And that's how we end up with our menu for the week, is we look at our orders and see what we're baking for other people, just to make it easier and simpler for the store, and we'll bake those flavors in addition to our regular flavors.
Okay,
because we usually have anywhere from 12 to 14 flavors in store every day.
Okay, so going through this business process, I'm gonna get a little bit of tell us some of the things that you learned in this process that you're like, damn, I won't do that again. Or for a baker who's making the pies, the cakes, the farmers market, what are some of the jewels you can give us as far as the do's and don'ts? And let's start with the do's, because obviously because we make mistakes. We're like, damn, we should have done that, but now we can help somebody not to make that same mistake.
I would say remain consistent.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. My recipes have been tinkered with a little bit, but for the most part, I have the same recipes that I started out with. So if somebody came to me 8 years ago and got a cookie, and they came back and got that cookie today, it would be the same cookie.
Oh, that's great.
So consistency is like the number one thing, especially when you're baking.
Right.
I mean, with anything, consistency is key, but when you're baking, it's like science. So you have to be consistent with that. And another thing, my biggest recommendation or biggest nugget for anyone that's in business for themselves, using themselves to push out a product, is know your worth, and don't let people try to discount what you're worth. That's been a struggle that I have, because I'm a people pleaser.
Right.
I'm the one that's yes,
Right.
whatever. And you have to know what you're worth, and once you know what you're worth, then people will start to adjust how they deal with you. They take you from being someone who's doing this on the side to an actual professional.
Got you. So let's break that down a little bit more, because you said what you're worth. So you mean people come to you like, hey, Drea, I know you. I'm just a round number. I know you charge $100, but give it to me for $25. Because you're doing it out your garage.
Oh yeah.
So
you're out your home, so
so you
they
can't
think that
you don't have as much overhead as the person
right.
at the shop, so you can take this discount, and I want that discount.
Right.
That's what you
exactly.
mean. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly.
So in growing at this time you're working a regular job as well, right?
Oh yeah.
So you're working a regular 9 to 5. And how long did you keep up the 9 to 5 and the cookie baking? And I'm sure you're selling the cookies at work as well.
Yeah, yeah. Sold them at work. I worked for San Bernardino County off and on for 7 years, but I've been consistently working 40 plus hours a week for 8 years while doing this business nights and weekends, and it's probably another 40 hours a week with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just didn't stop right away. So is that how you funded the business or kept the business afloat and going, the balance between the two? Especially
in the beginning, we didn't have a lot of customers, so I didn't have a lot of income coming in. But as the years went by, it started paying for itself. I wasn't working to pay for my business. My business was kind of building itself up and giving me a little extra, and I was able to do more things, buy equipment, and because a lot of the equipment that I have in my store now is equipment that I bought, while I was still working and doing it.
Got it.
So yeah.
So at what year of the 8 years of being in business did you start to see a turn a profit? Just for people who think that, oh yeah, well I see her and she has 11 and 15,000 followers on Instagram. Like, no, this is a process. This didn't happen. Like you said, you started with 2 or 3. They're all family. Probably include me as well because I love the cookies. Yeah. But at what year did you see, okay, I'm breaking even and now turning a profit? And then at some point before you opened the store, do you think that you could have left earlier? Because sometimes we get nervous, right? We're making a nice piece of change, but that check every 2 weeks is a comfort zone. So you're like, I'm not really sure. So tell us about that process and that mindset.
I think when I first started out, I wasn't really paying attention to how much money I was making. I think the first market we might have made $60, and I was like, "Woohoo, we made $60!" Even though I spent $60 on buying everything.
But 60 is 60. Celebrate the small wins.
Yeah. So I would say probably at about year 3, I started to see okay, I have some extra change. I can do some things.
Okay, good.
And then by year 5 is when I really started to keep track of everything and look at the sales, look at the trends, look at
any recommendations for accounting like QuickBooks or anything you use in particular?
I do it all myself. I use a spreadsheet.
Oh, really? I'm old school. Okay, you want to Excel on them.
Because
a numbers person.
I'm a numbers person,
okay,
so I do all of that. All the accounting, everything.
Okay, good.
But I started paying attention more, and that's how I kind of figured out, okay, if I go and buy this here, then I can cut the costs.
Okay.
So I started, instead of just going to the grocery store and buying things, I would
a bag here, a bag. You start buying bulk.
I started shopping around and seeing where the best deals were. So Costco, Sam's Club, and I wasn't doing the big food service delivery companies, but anywhere I could find a deal, I'd go and stock up because it helped the bottom line at the end. So yeah, doing stuff like that.
Okay, so that definitely helped you out a lot.
Definitely.
Now tell us, how many people do you have working for you, or who was helping you in the beginning besides just yourself?
Well, I'm pretty much the main baker. I have I have my son, Xavier. He just graduated from high school last year from Etowanda, and he was the one who was most interested in it, but my kids hated it because they had to do it. I'd be like, you guys better get these cookies wrapped so I can get to this market. So, they kind of just put it to the side, but he really enjoys baking. He started working with me, and he's learning how to, do what I do, and he's my manager of the store. So he's there 40 hours a week. And then I have my nephew Christian. He does the farmers markets.
Christian's always consistent.
Yeah. Christian is very consistent. He's good with his customers. He tells me those aren't your customers, those are my customers. I'm like, whatever.
Christian, he's definitely solid.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
And he has good customer service, and he has really good people skills. And that makes a difference when you're selling a product.
Yes, definitely.
So you hire well with him.
Yep. So it's just family. Everyone pitches in when we need to. So if I have a big order, I did an order a couple months back for Redland School District, and they ordered 3,000 cookies.
Oh, wow.
For the entire school district. So of course Xavier and I are not in
there. You can't just
I'm calling everybody. I'm like, Adrian, Allison, come on, I need help. So everybody just kind of pitches in and helps out. And then I have a girlfriend that I met when I was working at San Bernardino County. She was there as a temp, and she ended up being one of my best friends. And she lives in LA, but she volunteered. She says, you know what, if you need help, I'll commit to 6 months and I'll come help you for 6 months. And I was like, okay. So I trained her. She learned how to bake cookies and everything.
And
she came out and for 6 months. And then after 8 months, she's like, yeah, I'm going to have to do something else. I was like, okay. So she left. But then couple weeks ago, I talked to her and she's like, hey, guess what? If you want me to come back, I'll come back. I was like, yes.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, as much as I love doing what I do,
right.
it's a lot of work and it's a lot of, you know, physical labor. And, you know, we had to close down an additional day just for me to have some rest because I would be there 7 days a week, you know, 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's a lot because here's the other thing I think people don't realize. When you're baking and making food, right, your spirit and attitude goes into that food. So you got to have a clear mind.
Right.
You got to have a good spirit because you could taste it like, damn, was you in a bad mood when you made this? You know,
right.
like this chocolate chip cookie don't taste the same. What's going on?
There's no love in this.
Yeah. You have a breakup, you know, so you got to really make sure that, like you said, you take your rest and you take your time off, and that's important to you in what you do. So
yeah.
I get that, which is good. So now let's keep going. Now your sister, she was in the restaurant business as well for a little bit.
Yeah.
She had a spot in Fontana. And what was that called? What was it called? What's the name of that one? The one in Fontana? It was Felicia. She had
Up and Smoke.
Up and Smoke. And
Up
that was
and Smoke
a
barbecue.
Great barbecue spot for many a years. So
Yes.
was that an inspiration for you as well?
Definitely. My family has been in food service before. My mom actually had an ice cream shop on Foothill in Rochester. It was called Allison's Place, named after my younger sister.
Okay.
And I ran that for a few years when I left Vegas and came home.
Okay.
But we had we had a salad bar. We did everything in there.
Oh, wow.
We had ice cream. So I made all kind of ice cream things, shakes, and you know, we had a salad bar. We made sandwiches. We were like, if we could do it, we'll do it.
Right.
We sold Beanie Babies in there. We did everything.
I love it.
We did everything. So that was kind of my start into the food business, and I learned how to make coffee drinks because we had like the commercial coffee maker and the, you know, Starbucks kind of drinks.
Right.
So I learned how to do that, and when I ended up going back to Vegas, I started working for a coffee company out there. So we've been in the restaurant business for a while. My family.
Good.
Yeah.
And that was inspirational as well. So I'm happy to hear that. So now, fast forward, you're doing the farmer's market. At what point did you say, I want a storefront? Because the storefront's a big responsibility.
It is.
People see it and they're like, oh yeah, congratulations. But no, you got to have insurance. You got to have a liability insurance. You got to have an alarm. You got to have, employees. You got to have all these different aspects of running the business and selling the cookies and making a profit. What got you to the point after 8 years that I'm going to open up this storefront?
It was time. I was outgrowing my house.
Okay.
My whole front room was pretty much a commercial kitchen. I had, you shot a video there. It's like a commercial kitchen, and you know, it was to the point where I didn't have a home life because it was just baking, and so my sister's like, okay. Let's start looking. Let's start looking around and seeing. My sister's like, she's my cheerleader. She's like, you know, we can find something. We can find something that's pretty, you know, reasonable. And I'm like, all right, let's go look. So we looked around and we actually toured the spot where we are right now. About 4 years ago.
Okay. And
just looking at it or whatever. And then we came upon a spot 2 years ago in Ontario, right outside of Ontario Mills, on Mills Parkway. And we went through the process with the owner, and, you know, that's when COVID happened, and they were like, well, you know, we don't know. Gotcha. And just so happened that we were driving by and saw the same spot again where we are, and it was available. And
4 years later.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, let's just see.
Right.
And the rent was the same, and we were like, okay. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So, you know, did the application and everything, got approved, and I was like, oh,
wow, this is real. This is happening.
This is real deal. Yeah. So, once we, you know, got that spot, we didn't move into it right away because we wanted to take our time and make sure that we had everything ready. The business was already making enough money on its own to pay the rent. But, you know, we did everything out of pocket. So my sisters and I footed the bill for the construction.
So you didn't
build
get any
out
loans or anything?
No.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we did that.
So let me ask you, in that process, not regret, but do you think that you should have gotten a loan to kind of float cash flow, or do you like the fact that you don't owe anybody and you did it out of pocket? Yeah,
aside from leasing our equipment, that's the only real expense that we have. But I think it was the best way to go because we had the money coming in, or, you know, I had the money coming in just from the business in itself. And then, you know, it's like I can do something with this. It's, you know, I feel like if I would have gotten a loan, I would be stressed out. Like, oh, I got to make this loan payment. I got to make this loan payment. You know, I think it would have been more stress. So I figured we took it, you know, a little at a time, and
took your time
we got it. Yeah, we took our time with it. I mean, I think we We didn't open until like 7 months after we got our
Oh wow!
spot.
So you really took your time.
Yeah.
So in that 7-month process, you were still paying rent and things like that. Okay, but
Paying
you just
the
went full.
rent.
But you had enough to do all of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that makes sense.
So
then.
yeah,
Okay.
so I was
strategy.
basically making enough money to do the construction and pay the rent and do all of that. And so when we were ready to go, we were ready.
Yeah, you're solid.
Yeah.
And you didn't owe anybody. You very little
exactly.
debt. Okay.
Very little debt.
Yeah,
so
good move.
It was good. It was good. I think. Yeah, I just shy away from loans. I don't know. That's just a personal thing. I just shy away from it. If we can do it on our own, I would say
just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, just go ahead and do it. So
that's what you recommend.
Yeah.
Good deal. So now that you're in the business, 7 months before you move in, even before you got to that point, that's what you were saying. No, you had mentioned before. Let me go back. You mentioned before that you had left Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. You got divorced. Mm-hmm. You're working, and I'm getting to a little bit personal, but tell me when to stop. But you're working, divorced, and you're baking cookies with 3 children? 4 children. Mm-hmm. How are you? I mean, for the mothers out there who are trying to go to school and do certain things and to really build themselves in their business, how did you balance all? Hell, I want to know how you balanced all that. You know
what?
Tell me.
It's all in the support system.
Okay.
Like my sisters and I are very, very close.
Right.
Like we talk every day. We have a sister chat.
Okay.
We have a sister FaceTime.
Right.
We talk literally every day, and we support each other in everything that we do. So, okay. It's a funny story. When I first moved down here, living in Fontana, I got hired at the county of Santa Barbara.
Oh, wow.
So
that's
I
far
was
out.
commuting to Santa Barbara 3 days a week, and I would telework 1 day a week. But my older sister, who lives down the street from me, she pretty much took care of all my kids. Like I would leave my house at 4 a.m, get home at like 7 p.m, and they'd be like, "Hi, Mom. Good night, Mom."
Right. So you didn't have really a lot in the time in between.
Yeah.
Right.
At least those 3 days during the week. So she was very instrumental in
helpful.
Making sure that I had what I needed, my kids had what they needed, so that I could do what I had to do for the business.
Gotcha.
So hopefully it's paying off for her now.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, she saw the vision.
Yeah.
And not only did she see the vision, she bought into the vision. To help move it forward and move it along. So that support system is really good. So no matter what, in your case, it's your family, but in whatever you do, you need a solid foundation and support system.
Yeah, if it's friends, if it's family,
a significant other, whoever's there.
Whoever is there.
Right.
I mean, that's very helpful, because I'm telling you, my older sister, my younger sister too, but my older sister's right down the street, so we talk a little bit more. But she's like, she saw the vision before I saw the vision.
Oh, wow.
I was just doing
beautiful.
the work with my head down, and she's like, "You can do more. You can. We can. We can do this."
Right.
And so, every once in a while, she'll just come at me and just pour a whole bunch into me, and I'll be like, "Okay, I can do it." Yeah.
So see that upliftment, that spirituality, that's a whole nother level.
It is.
That's gonna give you chills, and then it not only that, it gives you the inspiration to know I can conquer the world.
Right.
Like, I could do this. I can make this a global brand. To hell with famous
Right.
famous cookies. I'm about to have the cookie lady.
Exactly.
That's what it boils down
to.
to.
And it's crazy because we're starting to get a lot of brand recognition. I will go and have on a shirt that just has a logo, and people be like,
I know that. Yeah.
I had those cookies at a wedding.
Okay.
Just stopping me, and it's crazy. It's so crazy to me when people know, or they'll see me and be like, "I know who you are," and I'll be like, "No, you
hold
don't.
on. Yeah, exactly.
Where you know me from?
You can't tell us that.
From Vegas or from here? Because that's 2 different people."
Exactly. Or did you see me a couple nights ago?
Right.
Like, I need answers here. Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell us, that's good that you have the brand recognition. So talk a little bit about social media strategy. I know you're on TikTok. I know you're on Instagram. You're on Facebook. Do you have a specific strategy on what you post and how you post? Because you have over 13,000 followers on Instagram and a really good big following on TikTok. So how do you manage those platforms? And do you do it yourself, or do your children help you with it?
I do it all.
Okay.
I do it all. When I first started out, I put every single cookie that I baked, I posted on Instagram.
Okay.
Every single cookie, like Instagram and my Facebook page.
Okay.
And then, as we started getting busier and busier, it'll be like, okay, if I'll post just pictures of the flavors that we're doing for the week.
Gotcha.
So now it's like, I don't post as much. I'll post the menus.
Okay.
And if I do like a cookie that's interesting on how it's made, I'll do like a video showing how I make it and bake it and how, what it starts with and how it comes out.
Right.
I'll do stuff like that. And then my son, he and I will do like stuff on TikTok, little funny things.
Okay, yeah, I seen those. Good deal.
Yeah, we do little funny things. But now, It's mostly just the menus, and you know, and I'm a I'm a tease. I'll make stuff that I know people want,
okay,
and then I will like take it apart on the camera and you know, watch the gooiness, the marshmallows and stuff crumbling.
But people love that though.
They love
that, yeah.
And we just started doing ice cream sandwiches. So when we get the case full, it's crazy. We make ice cream sandwiches every single day.
What?
We make them
at the storefront.
Mm-hmm, at the store. We make them every day. So we'll have like chocolate chip. So we make them every single day, and we won't get any sales. And I'll tell my son, watch this. So I will do a video. I'll start it off on TikTok, and then I'll put it onto the Instagram and the Facebook. Within an hour, it's like, okay, there's 10 gone. Okay, yeah, they're all gone. Sold out. But it's so crazy how people are just motivated by that. They'll see it and be like, oh yeah, I got to go back and get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The power of social media.
Yes. Okay.
All right, so the ice cream sandwiches, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like I'm you know I'm a fat boy, so I like to eat. I already like to eat everything. There's nothing there. I have clients to this day, from 3, 4, 5 years later, that still ask me, how do I order cookies? What's your website? Where do I go? How do I get it? And even I have a nephew that's always with me, Abraham, and he's vegetarian. His dad is vegetarian, and he loves the cookies as well. So, and not only that, when you eat those cookies, you can feel the love in the cookies. Yeah. You know, and I'm not just selling you on this. I'm telling from someone who is a cookie monster. There is love, and there is definitely a specialness to each and every one of these cookies that you make. Yeah, 100%.
I have to say that like baking cookies is my zen. That's how I would unwind. So I would come home from work after working 8 hours, and I would have orders to do and stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't be tired because it's like that was how I unwind. I clear my mind the whole day. It's very relaxing, and it's still that way. I still love to do it. So as long as I love to do it, you're gonna taste that love.
Exactly, and you could definitely taste it for sure.
Yeah,
100%. So now it's just you don't work for the city anymore.
The county, no.
The county, no. For county, it's just all 100% the
100% cookie jar.
Cookie jar, 100%.
Yep.
So now I've seen on your Instagram, I've seen some posts that you'll be at different events. I've seen Matt Barnes with your cookies. I've seen some R&B singers with your cookie. You know, when you get to that level of people that enjoy your cookies, how does that make you feel?
I mean,
what's that feeling like?
It's good. It's a good feeling, but I mean, they're people too. So I know, like, if I could get my cookies in the hand of this person, I know. Watch.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it'll happen. And like one of my favorite R&B singers, Adrian Marcel, I love him to death. He is the sweetest guy, and I took him some cookies one day, and he has been going hard for the cookie jar ever since then.
Yeah, I've seen him
like
post.
he will post on his own. Like he'll be on a live and be like, "Yeah, those cookies from the cookie jar." Or if he comes to town, he'll hit me up and be like, "Hey, where you at? Can I get some cookies?" And I'll be like, "I got you."
I remember your youngest sister, Allison. You know, her and I have been friends forever.
You
know, and I saw her post with him. You know, they like cheek to cheek. I'm like, who the hell is this that she got this damn picture with? You know, I'm about to call her and go, just joking with her. But then I see the caption, I was like, oh, age? Okay, like, okay.
Yes.
I see it. I see you, which is good though. But I love that because it shows people that you can have an idea from a class, you get to support, you keep going, no matter what the issues, because it's going to always be, no matter what you do in life. If you work at Target, you're an entertainer, a ball player, entrepreneur, real estate, it doesn't matter what it's going to always be some obstacles.
Right.
But you've managed to get past all those obstacles to a storefront, and now you're just continuously going. And one thing about the economy recession, people like to eat. Whether it's stress eating, whatever the case may be, and they love good food, and you're supplying that. And so really you're doing a help to the world.
I'm helping the world one cookie at a time.
Cookies, exactly.
But people always ask me, how did you open a store in the pandemic?
We need to coin that. A help to the world, one cookie at a time.
Okay. I got some trademarks in there. We need to do that.
And at the bottom it says the cookie jar.
Right.
That's what you need.
That's a good one.
I like
that.
Thank
you. I'm going to remember that.
We had to keep that.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
But people always ask me, how did you open a business in the pandemic? How did you do that? And I'm like, well, my business already existed, but in a time, a day and time when people are telling you everything that you can't do, you can't go outside, you can't, be next to people, you can't, you splurge on things that make you feel good, and cookies make people feel good. Desserts make people feel 100%. Good. But like to have something that you can go and spend $3-4 on, and then it make you feel good, and it's good, and it's like it gives you a different kind of feeling. And I feel like that's why I got so much support during that time, because you know our storefront opened almost a year ago. We opened in July. And the grand opening was crazy.
You had food trucks there.
No clue that it was going to be what it was, and I mean it was amazing. But just to see that kind of turnout in the state of what we were in, that was like a little bit of joy that everybody got to share. Yeah,
and not only that, not only are you spending $4 or $5, you're spending $4 or $5 for a quality, well-made product. Right. You can go to you can get 100 damn chicken nuggets for $4, or you can go to Churches and get you 5 pieces of chicken, but you're spending $4 to $5 on a quality product that you're going to like, enjoy, and it's not going to damage and hurt your body. Yeah, some sugar, but it's the best quality product out there that you can get for this amount of money, and you're going to enjoy it.
And we say homemade because everything we use is what you have in your home.
Exactly.
If you cook with butter, if you use flour when you make chicken or whatever, those are the things that we use. Right. You're not. That's the biggest thing, and I think that's going to be our biggest challenge when we try to expand, is to keep that homemade quality. Because I don't want to do a co-packer. I don't want to do where
artificial
you're doing
flavors.
Yeah, I don't want to do all that
number
stuff.
9.
Yeah. So it's like I try my best to kind of to keep that in mind when thinking about how we're going to expand.
Grow the brand.
Yeah, and grow the brand. But yeah, it's this homemade. It's definitely homemade. It was made in my home up until last year, so it's homemade.
And not only that, one thing I've realized, people spend more money for things that they like. Right? You look at the higher end clothes, or the higher end cars, or the higher end restaurants. If you like something, you're gonna pay for it. And let me just show this. Let me bring this cookie out again, because this is not a regular size cookie. Like a regular size cookie is maybe half of this right here. This is what you're getting when you purchase these cookies. And I'm not a cookie sponsor. I'm just a cookie monster. Okay, I just eat the cookies. But I want you to see what you get when you paying $3, $4, $5 for a cookie. This is delish. I mean, you could eat half now and half later.
Right.
So,
it's resealable for that reason. Resealable packages.
Exactly. And not only that, if you're gonna go to Starbucks and all these other places and spend $4 or $5 on a drink that's gonna go fast, it may have an attitude, mess up your drink. There you go. It's quality. It's definitely quality. So let me ask you now, where do you want to take the brand? You got the storefront. You've moved from the house, and it's funny. I was gonna say you had all the equipment at the house. How'd you have dates? You're like, come on over and watch a movie. Like, okay, are you cooking dinner here? Like, how did
I didn't date?
I forgot to ask you that. How did that work for you?
I didn't.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay,
it's just
working
kids and cookies.
Okay.
That's
all. The good part is you stay focused.
Yeah.
You stay focused. So that's a good thing. So where do you want to take the brand? You have the storefront. Where do you want? I mean, obviously we just joked about worldwide. That would be good. Do you want to go in the grocery stores? Do you want to go bigger? What do you want to do with the brand now?
I want our brand to grow and have multiple locations.
Okay.
But the caveat is I want it to stay within my family. I don't want to.
So you wouldn't franchise?
I don't want to franchise, no. Okay. Right now, I mean, people have approached me about franchising already, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, because I feel like that compromises the integrity of what I've built. And I just feel like this is something that when we decided we were going to move forward with this, it was for our family.
Right.
And it's like, my mom's legacy. My mother was an entrepreneur her whole life. So that's the legacy. And like I have a daughter in Atlanta, we can go to Atlanta. If she wants to run one, we can go to Atlanta. My son, LA is probably going to be the most easiest in the next location.
Okay.
My son is like, I'll move to LA. I'll go and do the LA location.
Okay.
So, as long as there's some element of family involved, then that's where we're going to go. I have a cousin that's in Alabama, and I'm like, Cookie Jar, Alabama, let's go, And so I think that it's bigger than,
the Fontana storefront.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger than the Fontana storefront, but the expansion is bigger than just, boom, expand. Like you see these other cookie companies popping up, one on every corner. Every time I turn around, somebody's like, hey, who's moving in next door? I'm like, it doesn't affect me. I'm different, I'm different. But, I don't want to be that one that pops up on every corner. I want to be that one that pops up and is still the same thing as if you come into the original store.
Right.
So, yeah.
That makes a difference. And family-owned businesses do well. I mean, look at In-N-Out. They don't franchise anybody. That's a family-owned business, and they're all over the place, and they keep that motto, and it works for them.
We're going to be the in and out of cookies.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
If you see somebody running one of our locations, it's going to be family.
Yeah.
They're going to be related to me. So,
exactly.
yes.
And that's a good legacy to have, because I think
is.
a lot of times we don't have that type of legacy. We don't have that type of financial literacy in order to expand, and we don't have those type of assets. Like that's an asset, not a liability. And then you set the perfect foundation when you say, look, we're going into this with no debt.
Right.
Because debt is slavery. You know, no matter how you look at it, no matter what color you are, no matter what race or nationality you are, debt is slavery. And when you go in and you don't have that debt, you're not stressed out, and you have a quality product, it's made for. Again, we have to get you on the S&P then soon. You know, get you to go public and be able to buy some shares and some things like that. Like this could literally be $1 billion conglomerate. And
I mean, it could.
I say that because if you look at Famous Amos, right, how he started in the corner, he didn't know. The man just said, "Hey, I'll give you XYZ amount of money." He wasn't financially literate. He didn't have the financial literacy to know how big that brand could be.
Right.
But that person who approached him, you know, they
knew.
Know,
they saw something he didn't see,
and they took it. But had he kept it for his family, it'd be. I mean, it's $1 billion company now, but it'd be much bigger than what it is.
And it'd be his.
Yeah, and it'd still be his. Yeah, exactly. Instead of him, you know, I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm just saying, as a foundation, what you're doing is not only helping your family, but you're teaching other people as well.
Right.
And that is what it's all about. Right. So, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, and to be able to give this knowledge to other people, men, women, and children, because you know you have children as young as 5 years old starting a lemonade stand.
Right.
You know, you have children 10 starting different things. So this is a great foundation, especially on how you did it. You went from the college presentation to the house, still working, the children, the sacrifice, the support, and now here you are. And in a couple years, when I have my big studio, I'm gonna have you back in.
Hey.
We'll remember this interview and we'll talk about how you become $1 billion company. Hey. And I'll have you and your sisters on, and we'll have a good time.
That sounds like fun.
Yes, thank you again. So I'm gonna put all of your social medias on the post. Tell the people you're on Instagram, TikTok, your website. Give them all the information before we go. We're gonna still post it.
So Instagram and TikTok is the Cookie Jar Online. Twitter and Facebook is the Cookie Jar TM. And what else?
What's the website?
Oh, the website, www.thecookiejaronline.com.
And that's where you can order any
that's
of the
where you can order
150 flavors?
Yeah, I think I have about 120 on the website. So if you see something you want, you can just shoot me a note and I'll do that.
So 120 flavors. You can order 2 different cookies. It has to equal out to a dozen. You can order as many dozens as you want. So if you want 4 flavors, 8 flavors, they have to come in 2s. And I appreciate you very much. I'm going to keep one of these cookies, if you don't mind.
No, you're going to keep all of those cookies.
Wonderful. Oh, God, I love her. I'm in love. She knows the way to a man's heart. It's the cookies. So until the next time, thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.